Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the maiden edition of Professional Chat Series. I am Onida Molaken, and I'm your host for today. Professional Chat Series is powered by Oneworq. Oneworq is a digital marketplace that connects professionals to clients as well as to themselves. What is the gig economy? So, gig economy basically is, um, is characterized by a labor market that is equivalent to short-term contracts, freelance work, as opposed to permanent and fractional jobs that we do. So, under the gig economy, we have different jobs. We have the Uber driving, the content writing, the freelance, the fitness training, and so on. Oh, okay. Can you hear me? Oh, okay. I am Onidamola Felix. I am your host for today. Is it better now? Yes, my mic is.
I don't think your mic is connected because we can't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now? Is it better?
No, still the same.
Should be better now.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, my
Thank you very much for the talk. Okay, so welcome everybody to the maiden edition of the Professional Chat Series. I am Onidamola Felix, and I am your host for today. So, Professional Chat Series is powered by Oneworq, and Oneworq is a digital marketplace that connects professionals to business, that is to clients and as well to themselves. So the theme of this month's edition of the PC series is the future of work and the rise of the gig economy. Can you still hear me, please? You can't hear me, let me know. Okay, all right. The future of work and the rise of the gig economy. So what is the gig economy? The gig economy is basically a labor market characterized by the prevalence of short-term contracts, freelance work, as opposed to permanent jobs or the traditional jobs that we are used to. Okay, under the gig economy, we have different types of work that fall under this category. They call them the gig workers. We have the Uber drivers, the boat drivers, the drivers that are basically short-termed. And we have the content writers, we have the freelancers. We call them freelancers generally. All right, let's do some statistics on this. According to the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics data for 2021, 33% or close to 23.2 million of about 70 million people that should fall under the working class in Nigeria out of work. And 22% of them are skilled, but due to lack of platforms or opportunities, they remain jobless or even underemployed. More than 50% of professionals in Nigeria actually earn less than $300. You do the math, you see that it's really not it. So under the we're going to be talking and having a conversation around the future of work. What do we believe that the gig economy is actually the future of work? And we have our resource speakers already present here. I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves right now. Andy, can we have you just tell us your name, your position, just introduce yourself basically.
Okay. Hi, Oneworq. Hello. Good morning, everyone. Good to be here. My name is Andy, like you said, Happy Nageri. I'm a software engineer, more like a gig worker. Work for a few software companies, basically. So yeah.
A few software companies. I mentioned them.
Oh, okay, cool. I work for Rover, and I also do a few gigs with Andela, and I also work on as also a gig consultant for some Nigerian companies too that will want to build tech, but also have to rely on gig workers due to some countries we're going to talk about in today's session. So yeah.
All right, that's wonderful. Esther, can we have you just introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone.
Esther.
I'm Esther. I pretty much work in the sales and partnership space. I have been doing this for about 3 years, and I have specialized mostly in the tech space. So worked across insurance tech, logistics, finance with fintech as well. And I also currently manage sales and partnerships for Trilla for the African market. So yeah, I think that's a quick rundown of what I do.
Thank you very much, Esther, for that quick introduction. All right, we'll be moving to the anchor session presently. So I'll be starting with ND. ND, can you share your view on the topic, the future of work and the rise of gig economy?
Okay, yes. So first of all, you've mentioned about a brief scenario, a brief context of the gig economy. So just to also put some illustrations to it, I would want to explain it from the angle of Steve. I'm going to use 3 entities: Steve, Jason, and Oneworq in this scenario. So Steve is an average entrepreneur and wants to build his business, and he lives in Nigeria, basically. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear
Okay.
you.
So Steve lives in Nigeria and is an average entrepreneur, and he wants to build a business possibly worth as $1 billion like Paystack, but he has to use and leverage on skills across all what his business entails. So Steve cannot afford to onboard a lot of professionals, work full-time on one idea. So what does Steve do? He leverages on people like Jason, professional skilled workers, who take gigs and work short-time on a project, like you've explained. So with this scenario, Steve can get people across all industries, get skills, people that have been verified, and also have them come on board and work for him to get projects done in phases. So up until recently, we've had scenarios of companies like Oneworq come together and say, oh, okay, Steve, we know how hard it is to find skilled workers and how hard it is to actually even verify and validate them. So we'll build a platform for you and where we can onboard all these skilled entrepreneurs for that. And so like some statistics you've given is actually accurate. And in the US, you can also see that skilled workers and the gig workers in the economy has contributed to about 5.7% of the US GDP. So this industry or this economy has been in this space, and it's really not going anywhere for any time soon. But what has happened between COVID and now? Between COVID and now, we've seen increase, obviously, and I've also been able to be privileged to join some platforms that encourage gig workers and bring them together to allow entrepreneurs have easy access to them. So some of these companies include Turing, Andela, Upwork, Fiverr. There you can, as gig workers, go on those platforms and then get gigs. And it's surprising to see that since COVID and now, over 25 million engineers have actually quit their 9-to-5 regular jobs and taking role of skilled professionals and gig workers, if I was using this context. Over 25 million engineers has up to that ideas. We also have seen over 120% increase in companies that have decided to go with individual contractors and skilled workers. to push their business forward. And we've seen that over 30% of Fortune 500 companies actually use this route. So the average work hours too has increased. The average work hours for employed staffs are about 40 hours a week, but we've seen that skilled workers tend to spend a lot more than that, about 10 hours extra. And our statistics show that if you spend more time working on an idea or on a project, there's a higher chances that you're going to get results faster, and you're also going to scale. So skilled workers contribute more hours to actually getting job done in a week. And that statistics has shown in likes of companies and startups and how quickly they can scale. Some of them are also due to having senior experienced skilled workers come on board on a short time, train people, and also bring stability to the business. Although there have been some road bumps to it. For example, for skilled workers, there have been issues like only a very few percentage of them have access to retirement plans. Only a very few percent feel they're left out of cultural identification with a company. But on the flip side, we've also seen that about 10% say about 25% of average workers, skilled workers, earn way more than the average workers. So that's a staggering figure, but gig workers get to earn more based on their experience and skills. So there's a lot more that needs to go if you want to be in the gig space. You need to be more experienced, and you need to actually get your skills up to a top notch. So above that, the future of work still remains that change is here, and the slang change is coming. I think it's a thing of the past. COVID has taught us that we can be decentralized, and we can also rely on short-term remote workers. So change is here, and people must always need to go with the change, or they're stuck in the past. So very soon, most corporate entities will be based on the Hollywood style of work, which is agile and very rare knowledge workers. So get them on board, put them on specific projects, and let them fast track how projects are done. So the gig economy is here. The future of work is actually independent workers, and not having people sit in an office from 9 to 5 and not getting things done. So that's just a short view of what I have on this take. You're muted if you're saying anything. You're still muted.
Thank you very much, Andy. The future of work, as it is, as you've said right now, is the gig economy, but that doesn't mean that we should not, the gig workers does not have to be skilled, they have to be skilled. All right, Esther, moving to Esther right now because of our time. Esther, can we have you? What is your view on the future of work? Do you believe that gig economy is actually the future of work?
Absolutely. Just to add to what Andy has said,
Can't hear you, Esther.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, I can hear Esther.
Okay. Yeah, you can go on.
All right, okay. Absolutely. So just to add to what Andy has said, I mean, of course, for me, when I moved back to Nigeria, it was understanding that, to be honest, relying on just one source of income was not realistic to, of course, meet up to the dream life that I wanted. And it was nice and refreshing to find organizations that were open to, allowing you explore this type of work. And yes, of course, people will say, oh, I like the benefits of being tied to an organization and all the perks that comes with it. But thankfully now lots of organizations now allow you to have those perks. So you can get yourself health benefits, you can get yourselves pretty much anything else that your company will offer you, right? So if you want health insurance, there's the likes of Reliance, HMO, and the rest of them that you can actually get for yourself. And another opportunity is the flexibility, right? Work-life balance, and the likes. So yes, I do think that this is here to stay. I think lots of people should explore it as well. and as also the fact that it's also part of principles. So I always say that, if it's something that you're looking to explore, it comes with a certain level of discipline as well. Especially should you choose to work for multiple brands at the same time, like somebody like me. It's a lot of discipline, time management. So yes, you can get into it. It's here to stay, but for the person who chooses to explore this type of work or this type of, career path, is also realizing that for you, you need to also be disciplined, and you need to also understand that it comes with its pros and cons. Pros is that multiple streams of income, you get to have a vast amount of experience in a very short time, which is really great. But then also the fact that you're responsible for your time is also the fact that, your work with these people also are timed well. But however, if you're disciplined and you're also able to deliver the same level of service or the standard of service at every single point in time, there is that possibility that comes with lots of referrals, and you're constantly growing, but also constantly employed, I'll say, even if you're self-employed. So I think that's pretty much what I can add to what Andy has said. I don't know if anybody else has any questions for me.
Esther, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
All right, thank you very much for that session. So quickly, before going into questions that the audience can have for us, we have some questions here that I would like to ask our speakers on the topic. Okay, so Esther.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, maybe we should just start from NG right now. Okay, so NG, what advice do you have for people who want to join the gig economy? That's the first one. The second one, why do you think the gig economy is so prevalent amidst tech folks? Why are they not opting for the normal traditional jobs?
So advice first, get your skills up, because there's always opportunities. Opportunities doesn't always come once. So as much as you meet people, you always find people that want things done. So you get your skills up. The more experienced and the higher quality your skills have, the more people you meet, and then you can always leverage on increasing your cost of service, so you can have less people to deal with and less anxiety. So there, above all, the advice is just to get your skills up and have a lot more soft skills, so you can work with people better and work with brands better. But also what was the second question again, please?
Why is the gig work so prevalent among tech
yes,
folks?
So it has been among tech folks. Yeah, I would think it actually has been prevalent among a lot of people. But okay, in the tech world, I would say in this phase we are of industrialization, we are moving to the internet generation. So a lot of work has been done in real life. So we need to build a lot more things in the internet world. So that's why there's a lot more demand in the tech space. So I think there's a statistics that says that in the number of engineers in California alone is more than the number of engineers in the entire Africa at large. And so
Andy, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Andy, can you hear me?
Okay.
Oh, okay. All right. Esther, can you hear me?
You can hear him.
Oh, okay.
Can anyone else?
The question I have for you, Esther, because I could not hear you again, is how can brands be better positioned to work with professionals in the gig-based economy? Like, how can brands be better positioned to work with professionals in the gig economy? In 2 minutes, can you just share?
Well, with regards to brands being better positioned, I think it's just also with regards to the HR side of things, like being much more flexible and open. Um, Most people, especially within the Nigerian African space, feel like, oh, if I don't have this person full time, or if I don't have this contract signed and all of that, it just basically means that they can do what they like. It's also why, for some reason, you still have people going to offices Monday to Friday when they absolutely have no reason why they should be there. And companies are not considering the fact that you could save that money that you're spending on an actual office space and actually use that to reward your staff. So it's things like that. It's being open-minded, and also being flexible and understanding what the benefits are with offering this opportunity. One is that you're also able to get a vast amount of what's the word, workers, right, at different levels, because there's some people you cannot afford to pay on a full-time contract, for example. But if you explore a gig option, it basically means that you can have these people for the hours that you need them for, and it's also much more strategic and much more specific as to what they have to deliver to you. So yeah, it's being just open-minded, doing more research, also training the HR team around what the benefits are and how to pretty much structure the work environment to accommodate a gig structure.
Right. Thank you very much, Esther, for that answer. Thank you very much, and you too, for the answer we gave. Okay, I'm very sure we have some professionals on this platform. It's very professional. I want to join this conversation in less than 2 minutes. Can you just signify?
I see somebody ask, how sustainable is the gig economy? Is it sustainable to the person doing it or to the brand? It'd be nice to be specific.
Okay, so the person asking the question, you have to be more specific. The person asking the question on how sustainable is the gig. And if we also have professionals that would like to join the conversation. Okay. Hi. Hi, Owadedoku. Are you?
How is the gig economy shaping the future of employment?
Oh,
once again, it needs to be specific. Future of employment for who? Because there are two parts involved here.
Because I think on the sustainability side, it's pretty much sustainable for companies. Companies can always leverage on people they can get and quickly let go of. But on gig workers, you might get burnt out at a longer time in your career. So you have to be specific on who you want to target that question to. And on the flip side too, I also think on that, a lot of people have leveraged on gigs, the concept of gig to open consultancy firms that all they do is just take on gigs. So that can also work as a corporate, I'd like to say that's an hybrid model and approach. So it could also be sustainable as a corporate. So.
All right.
I just add to that, that's exactly what I did, right? I started getting multiple offers at the same time. And once I realized, well, I'm just going to be honest with you, I like the company I'm working for. Are you able to accommodate that? These are the hours that I can dedicate that. And that's how I started my consultancy as well, just like Andy said. With regards to sustainability for the businesses, it's low risk, right? Because, they're spending less money, and also just like, to be honest, which is bad, but also good for them as a brand, is that you can hire and fire people very quickly and without having to take on that burden. For employees, or the benefits is that you're also not tied down to one company. You can be very specific. You can explore multiple streams of income. And then you can also, like you said, yes, you can get burnout as well, but there's also that flexibility in terms of you have more control as to how fast you want to grow with regards to your income or your career in general.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, Esther. And thank you very much for Andy for that question. Because of our time, we'll have to like round up right now. But before then, I don't think I've asked Esther your advice for those that want to join the gig economy. What would your advice be?
I'll say before, just like Fiverr and the rest, you'd have to have like, software experience or like, an amazing skill. But right now, every single job can be offered by gig space, right? Whether it's accounting or for me in terms of the sales part. And I just say, just like Andy, continuously invest in improving your skills. There are lots of tools, especially if you're going to work in the gig economy, which is remote, is learn how to use those tools. Some of them are free, right? So constantly find out within that space, what are the requirements and invest in that, right? And Google is really your best friend in doing that. Most of these things are free, and YouTube is also another good best friend. So yeah, if you want to stay and sustain yourself in the gig economy, constantly improving your skills.
All right, thank you very much, Esther, for the simplicity and all that. Okay, we've learned a lot from this episode of the Future of Work and the Rise of Gig Economy. We thank our speakers for joining and for enlightening us and for every other thing and the patience. All right, thank you for joining. So professional chat series holds every month. Join us same time next month. The video is going to be available on YouTube, and the link is going to be sent to your email address that we already have. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. And you too.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.